Seth Johnson is an incredibly gifted animator, and oftentimes will write something and we think the joke is right here. We'll give it to Seth and he will come back and have interpreted it with physical comedy that we didn't even see.
Often what will happen, because Seth and I have worked together for so long, and that you know, Russell and Pat, you know, they're so similar to us, is that Seth will take what we've written and sort of expand upon it, you know, making a joke even funnier with you know, with a visual aesthetic to it.
So there are 5 basic steps to our animation process. Step 1 is the script, and after that Scott starts recording the audio. He will record the voices and the sound effects and the score for the episode. He hands those things off to me, and then I start doing all the pre-production stuff, which is 2 main things. If there's any new elements in here, like for example an object, like for example a laser or a bunk bed or a new location, I have to design those things, and then I make a animatic, which is basically I basically animate the whole episode and string together all the audio, but just using a really basic stick figure type character.
Then we'll all sit, we'll watch what we have, we will all make input based on how to make it funnier, how to make it read better, and really what is the audience experience at the end of the day. Is it funny?
You can stick them on your helmet, like this! Stop that.
Then I start animating, and the animation process goes fairly quickly for animation. The whole thing is done in Flash.
None of us like Flash, but it's the medium in which we're working right now.
It's a fairly common thing that a lot of cartoons are made in this program that was never meant to actually be an animation tool. So far, 100% of our animation has been done in Flash, which is pretty interesting, and it's pretty much the only tool I use.
Not bad by Earth standards.
Yeah. The look of the show was really originated by one drawing that Patrick and Russell had from way back when they were still doing the band. And the characters were actually drawn to look like them when they were performing, the costumes they would perform in, etc. A few things changed. Jupiter changed the most. Jupiter, the concept during the show was that he was a space cowboy. At first he turned into this really strange kind of like Matthew McConaughey type character where he was like in a big yellow cowboy suit that just happened to have like an antenna on top, and then ultimately we just dropped the cowboy stuff entirely, and now he's just a spaceman. And a fun fact about his outfit, I was watching Abbott and Costello go to Mars, where in fact they never actually go to Mars, and I took their spacesuits they were wearing in there and shrunk them down to make them more form-fitting, and that's my homage to Abbott and Costello in their in Jupiter's spacesuit.
Boys, we need to talk.
The mouse was a tough one. The mouse was never actually designed before, so when it was handed off to me, I had to try and think of what he would look like. And originally he was this very small kind of Pixie and Dixie kind of character, just like very generic cartoon mouse. And it was, you know, it was cute and all, but it wasn't like iconic enough. It didn't feel like this is the character of a show that you would want to watch and you would want to see all the time. So after that he became kind of this butler type character, kind of stodgy, wore a bowler cap and carried a umbrella with him. And then ultimately he really became Secret Agent Mouse. He became James Bond Mouse, and that's where he is today, and that's what seems to work the best.
Hi guys.
Oh, Sadie, beautiful Sadie. You look very. Oh.
Okay.
So one of the things I particularly love about the Velvet Mouse show is the animation of it. I'm not a huge fan of 3D animation that they're doing now with movies and TV shows. For some reason I find it harder to relate to the characters. I'm not sure what that is. It just kind of some sort of psychological thing. But the animation for the Velvet Mouse show, I just connect to them. And it's part nostalgia, but it's part just, it feels more real to me the way it's animated. So it makes me really love each character more deeply than I would if it were 3D for some reason.
Sadie was another one that had never been designed before, so when we started approaching her, we were trying to find like attributes that made really like the world's best like girl next door. She has to be smart, and she has to be, you know, all the boys love her. She's adorable, and so the attributes that all kind of came together were She has a lot of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the comic book, in her. She has a lot of Betty Cooper from the Archies in her. She has a little bit of Daphne from Scooby-Doo, and actually she has a character that Scott and I really like, Googie from Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. Her haircut is very similar to Googie from that movie, and she's great. And originally, we had some strange trouble with her. Her head was enormous. Like we don't know why. It just looked really odd, and we couldn't figure out what it was. And as soon as we shrunk her head, it's like, oh, there it is. Her head was enormous. And every time we look at those old drawings, we just go, wow, that was a really big head.
I like Lucky's in Love Part 3.
Lucky's in Love Part 3.
Lucky's in love.
I love all the episodes.
Bunk beds.
Bunk beds.
Bunk beds.
Bunk beds.
Lucky paints the world.
Lucky paints the world.
King's Cross. Get it?
The holiday greeting.
I love all of the episodes, but my favorite is always the one that we're about to do.